It's the moment you didn't know you're waiting for.
He is Carter,
He's Chad.
and this is the Irish 365 podcast.
Chad, this is Lou Holtz. That's head coach of Notre Dame for 11 years. Greatest experience of my life. They're starting a Notre Dame podcast this summer. I have a podcast as well, but it's not about Notre Dame football, although I wish there were. But congratulations on your success. And it would be nice if I could be on your podcast, but my schedule is so hectic. But anything that has to do with Notre Dame, I'm all for it. God bless you. Go Irish.
Welcome into Irish 365, episode 9.
9.
Purdue week.
Let's go.
Purdue
week.
preview.
Purdue week. So I think we got to start off talking about the mental health of the Irish nation at this point.
Yep.
I'm glad we had the podcast. It gave me a chance to get some things off my
Yep.
chest. It helped me a little therapeutic.
Yep.
So it was good for me. Maybe not as good for the fan base. They don't all have a podcast. We have got a lot of requests here lately for, interaction call-in shows. So we're gonna try and figure that out next as we have this low budget activity that we call a podcast, and we work through this. So
We're just here to have a good time, and we're definitely here for
Yeah.
entertaining you guys. We definitely want you guys to be a part of it. But we did start, if you're on Facebook, in the Facebook Messenger group, right?
That's
Or
right.
What's it? I'm not good at Facebook. What is it? It's
Irish
Facebook.
I365, or Notre Dame Fighting Irish Football Fans, Irish 365 podcast. Go to Facebook, hit the Irish
group.
Yeah, and
Right.
join a group. Look for an Irish 365 group. You can post stuff. We can interact. So
Yeah, I'm already getting roasted for my parlays, but we'll get onto that later.
all right.
But,
Hey,
we'll
if
get
you
to
don't
that
know,
later.
you can email us irish365pod@gmail.com,
DM
and we'll
us.
send you links.
Yep.
We'll send you links. DM us on Instagram,
DM
X, whatever.
Anything. Reach
Yeah.
out to us. We're always here. You might even get shout out on the podcast.
That's right. We're willing to give the shots out.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of it. But mental state, man, I think we were all excited going into the season, week one. Personally for me, I got a little nervous going into week one with the A&M. Like, okay, are we going to be as good as I hope? Is A&M going to be better than I expect?
Yeah.
All those kind of things. We survived a very difficult scenario in week one. We got a win. Felt really good. We were buying into the hype. I think the team might have bought in the hype a little
The
bit.
nation was buying it.
The nation was. I mean, I've not seen Notre Dame get this much love since 2012.
Yeah.
And we
It
were
did
getting
not happen that fast either.
and it was slow.
Yeah.
We were undefeated before we got love, and then we got trounced.
Yep.
The Nick Saban's all-world Alabama team.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, so I think we all took it a little harder because it was like, oh man, we felt good. Things were
Yeah.
rolling. We got two good coaches, coordinators. We got a great head coach. Like, what's to stop us? ESPN saying we're most likely going undefeated.
Hey, this is what I always said about Drew Pine. His highs were high and his lows were low.
Exactly.
Boy, oh boy, was this highs were high and lows were low all in 2 weeks.
Yeah. So
Riley Leonard sure did feel that as a Notre Dame quarterback. The high was great, the low was low.
So yeah, I think we go forward from here though. I mean, I think we got to just kind of take a collective deep breath at this point.
Yep.
All right, now we're good. So we got to go forward from here. We got to say, okay, all our goals are still possible. Making the playoffs is still possible.
Oh yeah.
Winning a national championship is still possible.
Hosting a home playoff game.
It's still possible.
Yep.
Like, everything's on the table. But playoffs start now, right?
Yep.
For Notre Dame, playoffs start now. We got to go one game at a time.
Yeah.
And that's the advice we got to give the team. And I think as a podcast, we got to do the same thing. As a fan base, we got to do the same thing.
Yep.
We got to stop looking forward and say, one game at a time. Let's get to the end of this 12 game season, and then see where we stand.
Yep.
Every week we get another data point.
Yeah.
Tells us how good we are, how bad we are, what we need to work on. But just one game at a time. I think that's the way we got to go.
Yeah. So definitely after the 14 playoff though, you saw teams lose to a not as good team week one and then end up making the 14 playoff. So it's a 12-team playoff, right? So
yeah,
that's a good thing. It's not like we lost to NIU week 12 here.
And I think the other stat I heard today that was kind of interesting, last year there would have been 3 3-loss teams that would have made a 12-team playoff.
Yeah.
So it's not, hey, if you went out on our schedule and you have this bump in the road, and let's hope that NIU wins the MAC and is that group of 5 team.
Yep.
Then this loss isn't as bad as you think it is.
Yep.
It's just not. And so we don't need to be talking about the rumors of Marcus Freeman being fired and who the next coach is.
Not happening.
Listen, if you don't know anything about Notre Dame history, only one time have we ever fired a coach in his 3rd year. Once. Yeah. Tyrone Willingham.
Yep.
And the knock on Tyrone Willingham was he did not want to recruit. He wanted the golf.
Yeah.
And you do not have those same knocks. I mean, when you look at what Marcus Freeman's doing, again, I'm going to tell you, don't follow recruiting. It's brutal. But if you look at what Marcus Freeman's doing on all fronts, he's all in on Notre Dame. He's attending other sporting events. He's supporting, lacrosse and soccer and basketball. Like men's and women's. Like he's everywhere on campus. He's outside the season. He's a big Notre Dame rally guy. He's a super fan. And you on the recruiting trail, he just keeps relentlessly recruiting and selling the university. It is not a comparison to the Tyrone Willingham era where Tyrone Willingham was, maybe considered golfing a little too much.
Collecting a check.
But there's this contingent of Notre Dame fan that's never happy.
Yep.
That the backup quarterback's always better than the starter. And you know what? Last 7 days, I would have argued with you prior to Saturday. That fan's crazy. They're pushing too much, even though Riley didn't do well at A&M.
Yeah.
But since Saturday's game, I've been on that bandwagon.
Yep.
Hey, why didn't we pull the quarterback? Why didn't we make the change? For once, I missed Brian Kelly because he'd had 3 quarterbacks in that game. We saw, and maybe it has an influence on Marcus. Maybe he saw that first year as a defensive coordinator. We were playing Cincinnati, and we went through 3 quarterbacks.
Yeah, definitely.
And maybe he said, "Hey, that's not the way to handle it. That was bad. Wasn't good for anybody. It was bad for everybody," kind of thing. So who knows what his influence was? If he gets a chance to call in and be on the show, I'll ask him.
Yeah, that definitely.
But until
any day.
Until then, we'll hold on. But I also know there's a contingent of Notre Dame fans, that have been saying Marcus Freeman's in over his head. They didn't like Brian Kelly. They didn't like Charlie Weiss. They didn't like this guy. It's always the same old tired rumors of the same old tired coaches that they see. They're coming to Notre Dame. We're going to get them here. And I saw one today where someone was saying that's making some outrageous claim, was probably clickbait, that Notre Dame's alumni or major donors have already reached out to this prominent coach who coached at Notre Dame, was a wide receiver coach under Holtz. He coached at some team just across the state line in Ohio, and he coached down in Florida. He's won national championships. He ain't coming. I'm not going to even give it any breath by saying his name, but there's always going to be that contingency. So just hey, I think we just again take the deep breath. Let's get through the season. Let's build these data points. We're not getting rid of Marcus in year 3, and we're not going to get rid of him until the end of year 4 at the earliest. But I will tell you this: if we don't play better and he doesn't continue to grow, the seat will get hot. It's hotter today than it was last week, and it's going to get hotter if we don't continue to have success. So I think we're okay, and I think he's got 2 years. He's got a year. He's got the rest of this year, next year before he has to worry about his job.
Yep.
But I think the leash is short, or the seat's getting hotter. For the first time, he's going to experience a little bit of pressure. So anyway, I think that's it, man. Let's file it. Let's put it behind us. Let's move forward. What do you think?
Yep, I'm ready to talk about Purdue.
So it's Purdue week. All right. So what do we know about Purdue?
All right, so Purdue comes into the year 1-0.
How'd they do last week?
Yeah, so they beat the bye week.
Crushed the bye.
So they got through that. I mean, obviously, week 2 bye is interesting, but a lot of time to prepare for the Irish. But they did beat, can't even say an in-state rival, FCS opponent, Indiana State, 49-0. I'm going to be honest, about a week ago this time, we were looking at quarterback stats for a Northern Illinois team that looked very good against a weak Illinois State team. And I was like, 18 for 20 is pretty good. Well, Purdue's quarterback went 24. Hudson Carr last week or 2 weeks ago went 24 for 25 for 273.
Even better.
Even better than that. So I guess we can't overlook these stats here.
Yeah.
Mockenbury and Jackson both went over 80 yards on the ground, but I've been told by some Purdue fan that Mockenbury and Love are the 1-2 punch for the Purdue team.
I've heard the same thing.
Yeah, Jackson only had 3 carries, and he went, I think, for 81. So, I mean, he must have had a big run, I'd assume, on that one. And then I think I saw the Love guy had 7 or 8 carries, I think it was.
Yeah.
Mockenbury led the way with, I think, 10 or 11. So, yeah, I think Purdue's definitely got a deep running back room, it looks like. A lot of guys played. A lot of guys have experience. If they have an injury, definitely can. And then I saw 10 guys, not just caught 1 ball, but 10 guys caught at least 2 passes.
Sounds a lot like Northern Illinois. 11 guys caught
I think they had 13 or 14 that actually caught at least 1, but 10 guys caught 2 or more. So, I mean, that's just a step up.
Did you see any stats that said they had 70 guys in the
I did not.
I did not either.
I did not see that either. So.
But I get real nervous at that point. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. I think Purdue is probably a little more talented
Yeah.
version of NIU and maybe a little more depth than
Yeah.
NIU. I don't know. Hard to say. NIU had a lot of experience. Maybe
Yep.
Purdue didn't have quite as much experience.
Yeah.
Maybe not quite as much depth, but I think the talent level at Purdue is probably going to be a step up.
Yeah, definitely. And then in the wide receiver room, they had it when I was listening and talking to some guys. Big wide receivers, long, athletic, lengthy,
Yep.
just don't know how well football players are. That's what I was getting from them. They're like, obviously, this is their first test. They played Indiana State. Wasn't expecting to have any challenges there. Did what they're supposed to do, though, so that's a good sign for Purdue fans.
And hey, fortunate for the Irish, this is not a night game.
Yeah, I mean, definitely after getting upset last week, it's not a game I'd love to go into. It's Purdue, right? Purdue's known for knocking off teams.
I mean,
but
yeah, Purdue can be a pretty raucous crowd at a
Yeah.
night game. You give a bunch of students a chance to drink all day and then
Yeah,
show up
no
a football
kid.
game that night.
no kid.
And Purdue's going to be. We said NIU came in confident last week. Purdue's got to be just as confident.
Yeah.
They got a week win one. Notre Dame's been exposed for being beatable, so Purdue's got to feel good about it. Had we beat NIU by 40 points last week, the Purdue faithful would be realistic and say we don't feel real good about it.
Yeah.
I've already heard that from some of them, like we don't feel good about it. But Purdue basketball, Purdue football has let their fans down enough times. Now, shout out to them on the basketball side.
Yeah,
but
doing something here.
They did something here recently, but I think that fan base is conditioned to, and I think you and I can talk about our trip to your first trip to Purdue.
Expect disappointment.
Yeah, they expect disappointment. They've just got a realistic condition. You will never call Purdue fans delusional.
Yep.
At least not for very long, because they come back down to earth pretty quick. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyway, I think that's kind of an interesting thing. I think that's the whole dynamic. It's like, so for Notre Dame, we're going to figure it out, right? Are we going to learn the lessons from the NIU experience and be better?
I mean,
or are we going to repeat our mistakes? And I think that'll be.
We should know our weaknesses more after Coach Hammock physically called Marcus Freeman and told him what we saw on the scouting report. I'm just glad Coach Hammock didn't call Purdue and was like, "Hey, guess what Notre Dame stinks
Yeah, right.
at?"
There's two people we could call, and I'm glad Marcus got the call, not Purdue.
Yeah.
And you know what? Hey, we said it before. We support Hammock, 260 guy. Got a lot of love for him. Unfortunately, I wish this was any other team. I wished it was any other team except Notre Dame, because I would be celebrating his victory with everybody else. A little hard for me to celebrate.
Yeah.
Because it just hurt a little more. So.
All right, so let's kind of get into it. Notre Dame, Riley Leonard, Marcus Freeman announced, obviously will be starting this week, even though he's got a posterior labrum on his non-throwing shoulder.
Yeah.
And I'm not a medical guy, but that doesn't sound good.
It sounds like something's wrong. And
And it sure seemed like he stopped running the ball after that first quarter, second quarter maybe.
It was really after that backward fumble pass.
Yeah.
He got up, hold himself. I don't know if that's when it happened, but that would be my suspicion.
Yeah, definitely seems right to me. So definitely saw a lot less running Riley in the second half, and performance didn't get any better from there.
Yeah, so I think there's lessons learned there, right? So if I'm Purdue, I crushed the bye week, didn't lose. I got a good game one. So I had all of the time between week 1 and week 2 to put together my game plan to beat Notre Dame.
Yeah, so we were kind of spot on with this game plan last weekend, it seemed like, and pretty close the week before with Texas A&M. So we're going to give you what we think this week. What are we thinking? What's Purdue's game plan here? Purdue, don't be listening to this, I guess.
Yeah, like I say, if we predicted week 3, I'm going to stop doing it, because I do not want to give away the secrets. I expect phone calls from the Notre
if we
Dame
do it
department.
and Purdue wins.
Connor Stallion has nothing on us.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. If we predict the game plan, call us. We're available. So anyway, yeah, if I'm Purdue, I had week 1 win. I had week 1 to week 2 to prepare for my Notre Dame game plan. I saw what NIU did. I'm going to adjust, and I'm going to follow the same game plan as NIU.
Yeah.
That's exactly where I'm going in this whole opportunity, whole operation. I'm following the NIU game plan. So what does that look like? 11 men in the box. I'm stopping the run. Not literally 11 men in the box.
Yeah.
But I'm stopping the
selling out on the run.
I'm selling out. I'm not going to worry about playing man defense.
It's not 3 high safeties, right? You're not playing 2 high safeties.
That's right. I'm going to give you up any throw you want to do over 20 yards.
Yeah.
I want Riley Leonard to prove he can throw the ball deep.
Yeah.
And he can do it accurately, and he can beat me.
So I believe the stat is Notre Dame is one of 4. I don't remember if it's FBS or just Power 4 programs that hasn't thrown a passing touchdown yet.
I think we're last in passing.
Yeah.
And like offense in general, I think we're like 130 or something. I mean, just ridiculously terrible.
Yeah.
And, it was a winnable game last week. As bad as we were, it was a winnable game.
Definitely.
Like,
had chances.
So yeah, if I'm Purdue, I'm doing the exact same thing on defense. I
think you got to send the blitzes early and often, make Riley uncomfortable. If he's in pain.
I'm run blitzing.
Yeah.
I'm run blitzing. I'm going to take away the run. I'm going to fill every gap. I'm going to make him throw.
And then on plays that is a passing down, a 3rd and 6, 3rd and 5, I think you have a QB spy that's just all over him.
Yep.
Like, you're not letting Riley run. You're making him throw on those.
Yeah, bring the house and not let him run.
Yeah.
So I think that's it offensively, defensively for Purdue. Offensively for Purdue, it looks a lot like NIU.
Yeah.
Again, I'm gonna work on running the ball.
Yep.
I'm gonna maybe take a shot every now and then, a deep
I
shot.
mean, you got a quarterback in Hudson Card that obviously went 24-25 in their first game.
Yeah.
He's got some confidence, but I don't think they're going to come out gunslinging. I think they're going to control the possession or try to control the possession, and then Notre Dame's had a lot of problems, like we've talked about, defending the run.
but I'm gonna make them do that. I'm gonna take
Yeah.
a shot every now and then on first down to keep Notre Dame honest.
Yep.
And then I'm going to turn around and I'm going to run the ball. I'm going to try and keep myself in third and shorts
Yep.
because third and long is not in Notre Dame's game plan. Or that's what Notre Dame wants you to do. So I'm going to stay out of Notre Dame's hands. I'm going to be slow. I'm going to run out clock, and I'm going to throw a few trick plays in.
I was going to say, NIU had a chance to beat us on trick plays. It'll be interesting how early Purdue goes to those trick plays, or if they'll try to hold those off the second half when the game's close.
Yeah, but I mean, again, same thing, right? You can't win it in the first quarter.
Yep.
But you can lose it.
Yep.
And if I'm Purdue, I just want to get around it, keep that crowd in it. I know the Purdue crowd will come in high.
Yep.
And they'll quickly go out of the game, or they'll quickly rise depending on how Purdue's doing. And the longer Purdue sticks around, the more excited they're going to get, the more vocal they're going to get, the more entrenched they're going to get.
Yeah.
So yeah, if I'm Purdue, I just want to make it to the start of the fourth quarter close, and then when it's there,
it's clutch time.
Good things could happen. So I really think that's kind of the recipe I'm going to follow if I'm Purdue, because they set up well to do that, and Notre Dame sets up terribly to do that. So that goes back to this side of the ball. Now we go back to the Irish keys to victory, right?
Yep.
What is Notre Dame going to do, right? We talked about it. Coach Helmuck, he's called Marcus Freeman, told him what we did to beat you.
Yep.
As if Marcus couldn't figure that out, but he told him flat out what we did.
Mm-hmm.
And so if we think that Purdue is a better version of NIU, then we're going to see if Notre Dame can learn and apply those lessons. So we talked about, getting more data points before we make decisions about Marcus Freeman. Mm-hmm. This is his chance to put all that to bed and show that and I think he can.
Yeah.
I think the team, if the team doesn't rally from this, if he loses the team and they don't rally from this, and they don't say, hey, we're going to step up and we're going to be, very effective and very dominant, and we're going to win this game, then that says a lot about this team. And it says a lot about him as a coach and where we stand. Yeah. So I think we're going to learn a lot this week, right? And I don't want to overreact. If we win by 100, I don't want to overreact. Yeah. And
I don't want to see Riley Leonard for Heisman after this week.
Yeah, no, right. That conversation is done. At this point. And anybody says that, I'm gonna just wonder why.
Yeah. So I think keys for Notre Dame this week. Got to get Riley Leonard feeling confident.
Yeah, offensively,
I mean, guy's not feeling confident coming after last week.
No.
You got to get. He was missing easy throws. He was doing this. I've heard he's been throwing good balls at practice. That's what we heard all summer.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm hopeful that it was just a bad week, and that's not how he normally plays and all this stuff, because I think he has the potential to be I'm not going to say a great quarterback, but I think he's got potential to be a good quarterback and win some games. Yeah. But he needs to get some confidence, because a quarterback with no confidence is going to lose a lot more games. He's going to win.
Well, I'm with you. We have to figure out if Riley Leonard's a quarterback we can win with. Yep. If Riley Leonard's a quarterback we can win because of.
Yep.
Like, we need to figure that out.
Yeah.
Right now, he's a quarterback we can win with.
Yep.
And I think we've got 3 other quarterbacks in the quarterback room we can win with.
Yeah.
We need a quarterback we can win because of.
Yep.
So I think that's big for Riley. So if I'm Denbrock coming into this, I'm going to commit to the run and commit to the run early.
Yeah.
Because I don't think we ran enough last week with Price and Love. We just didn't run enough.
Yeah.
Those guys have both shown that they're as good as any backs in the country, I think. So I think we got to commit to the run early, and we got to keep the pass plays short and build Riley's confidence.
Yep.
He doesn't need to throw the ball 40 yards down the field.
Yeah.
He just needs to get some dinks and dunks and just get confident. Now, I know running him gets him confident, because and I think we did that masterfully last week.
Yeah, that first drive,
series, we got him running, got him confident. Like, just when we
I fully expect Notre Dame to score again on this opening drive. I feel like the boys felt confident last week with that. They felt good about it. It just, all right, now what do we do on that second and third drive? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
They definitely, you always hear a football team, they practice those first 10 to 15 plays. Like, they're scripted. You're ready to go.
Yeah.
And Notre Dame looked phenomenal that first drive. And it was kind of like,
really, really good first drive.
Yeah. You couldn't have drawn it up any better start of that game.
So
I fully expect that same start this week. You got to have that first drive where you build that confidence, but then what do you do from there?
Yeah, and that's where I think you got to do. So I think you got to run the ball for Notre Dame.
Yep.
Establish the run. I think you got to sparingly run Riley because of the injury, because you don't want to make it worse.
Right.
And then after you establish that first drive, I think you have to turn around and say, okay, now I got to get him some throws,
Yeah.
because I think this is where you're at with Riley, right? I mean, we can talk about this. Let's talk about defense.
Well,
Come back and talk.
I want to hit this real quick. I've got bullet pointed or starred everything. Get Jeremiah Love the ball.
Please.
Get him the ball. Running, screenplay, something. Get that dude the ball. Get him some blockers. Give him the ball. He will make stuff happen. And we saw that last week.
Oh yeah, and just wheel routes, check downs, whatever.
Yeah.
If he's open and there's no one within 10 yards, he's your hot read. Hit him first.
Get him the ball. So that's my big take for this week. That's how we win this game this week. We get him the ball early, often. Get him in open space. He'll score.
And I think defensively for us, it's kind of funny, but I think we start talking about keys on defense.
Yeah.
Stop the run.
Yeah.
We have got to stop the run. We cannot let Purdue average 3-4 yards a run. Just cannot.
Yeah.
We've got to keep them to 1 or 2 yards.
Especially if they've got both running backs in a wildcat formation. Let's just assume they're going to run the ball on that. They're not going to throw over our head on that one.
So I mean, if we got to go to a 4 linebacker set and let our take our safeties, and just corners and just say you're on an island, you got to man up, because we've got the talent to do it.
Yeah.
And I think it's worth the gamble. I'm going to sell out on stopping the run.
Yeah.
And force Purdue into 3rd and long, then go into our standard defense, and I think there's chance of 3-4 turnovers at that point.
Yeah, and then can't miss tackles.
Yeah. Yes.
Cannot miss tackles. Wrap up on the first guy's got to be hitting. We can't be needing the 3rd guy to take him down. Come on, we got to make tackles this week.
Okay, if the 3rd guy's taking him down, he better not gain yards after the first hit. That's just, we've got to be better on the tackling.
Just discipline right there.
So yeah, I think defensively it's pretty simple. I mean, sell out on stopping the run, get them in 3rd and long, and then let our defense do what our defense does, especially with our defensive backs. And if I'm going to anticipate Purdue's going to take a shot every now and then on 1st or 2nd down.
Yep, I'm fine with that.
But they're going to run the ball the majority of the time. Commit to it.
Yep.
Force them to throw as much as they should be forcing Riley Leonard to throw.
Yeah.
I think that's our defensive game plan. I think that's what we have to do.
Yep.
So then you get into this Riley Leonard thing, right? So now they're going to, if I'm Purdue and I'm forcing Riley Leonard to throw, he's either going to look like a Heisman contender at the end of this game, or he's going to be exposed, and Notre Dame's going to be in a very difficult position.
Yeah.
We're going to have to make a decision at some point. Like, are we going to stick with Riley Leonard, and why?
Yeah.
So how much leash does Riley Leonard get if your coach? What does it look like to you?
Well, my biggest thing is he going to be healthy by halftime?
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about this coming in the season preview. Is this dude going to stay healthy?
Yeah.
It's not even a game and a half in. It seems like he got hurt. Like, that's our guess. I mean, he didn't make it full 2 games coming. He's not going into week 3 healthy.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Right. So I mean, it might not even be a situation where Freeman has to make a decision. It might be, oh, Riley's hurt. We got to go somewhere else, which could be a possibility. But I mean, I think, like I said, I fully expect Notre to come out and score on that first drive again.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Which I should have no confidence in the offense after seeing every drive but that first one last week. But I think Denbrock's really strong at having an opening drive plan.
Yeah.
So I fully expect this to come out, at least get a field goal on that opening drive. And then I think it goes first quarter till halftime will be interesting. Riley does not get benched unless he has 2 turnovers in the first half.
I'll see.
Before halftime. I think there's a chance we see his new quarterback coming out in the 3rd quarter unless he's thrown 2 picks early or fumbled or something.
Yeah, I think
that's my take. I don't think he gets pulled for not scoring until halftime.
Well, I think it depends on what Purdue does. I think the game situation dictates that.
Yeah, I don't see Purdue putting up a bunch of points on us though either. Yeah, so I guess.
Yeah, if Purdue gets a lead and he can't drive us down to respond.
Yeah.
I think like he gets 1 or 2, like let's just say Purdue gets opening kickoff. Yeah. They come down and they score 7.
Yeah.
And then we get the ball and we don't score.
Yeah.
And then Purdue gets the ball back and they don't score. If we get the ball back and we're stagnant on offense a second drive, I think that's a real strong possibility that the third series, if we're down 7 early, Riley gets pulled. Now, I don't know if that'll happen, but I think there's a real strong. I think under that it does. Now, if they get the ball and they score, we come back and they score, and we're able to move the ball. I think the leash is a little longer.
Yeah.
And if we go up 10, I think the leash gets a whole lot longer.
Right.
With the exception of him throwing, multiple picks.
Yeah.
So if we're down 7 and he throws a pick, do you give him an opportunity to throw the second one?
Oh, I think they're gonna have he's not your starting quarterback if you're going to pull him after one pick, right? It's a college kid still. Like he's going to make a mistake.
I
Like
know.
I don't expect Riley Leonard to come out here and be Peyton Manning, right? I don't
No.
expect that. I think he's going to have. If you're going to say and be behind him, he's a starter. You're not going to pull him after one thing. Why would you not pull him to start the game?
Well, exactly. I'm with you there. But how much leash do you give him?
I'm saying if he's not done anything up until halftime, no long drives, no nothing, no points, then he makes it to halftime. But I don't unless he makes it to halftime unless he's turning the ball over or making
Yeah.
dumb
Okay.
decisions, fumbling.
I mean,
That's my take,
it
and
wouldn't.
that's
It
I mean,
wouldn't be. It wouldn't be unfair.
yeah.
And I'm probably going to be a little less lenient on that.
I'm telling you that might not be what I think should happen, but that's what will happen.
Oh no, I'm hearing you. That's
Yeah.
what you think we'll do.
Yeah.
And again, I think as long as we don't go down more than 7,
Yeah.
we'll be okay.
Yeah.
But I think if we go down more than 7, or if the passing accuracy just looks like it did last week,
Yeah.
which is disappointing. I've heard all these great things. I've seen he went to the Manning Passing Academy and he won the accuracy challenge.
Yeah.
But we know this from kicking, right? Kicking
Yeah.
in no helmet and shorts is a lot
Yeah.
different than kicking when the game's on the line.
Yeah.
And like
80,000 people yelling.
yeah. So is it a situation where Riley's a gamer in practice, but he's not a gamer in
He's not a gamer.
Yeah, I mean, just he's a practicer, but he's not a gamer. So
Yeah.
I don't think that's the case. There's enough out there of him making some good throws at Duke and things of that nature. But I think that's going to be interesting. I think for the Notre Dame faithful, that's going to be the most interesting part of this whole conversation is how much leash does Riley get? And I think we all would like to see Riley ball out.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be good for the Notre Dame collective soul for us to win this game, 56 to 3.
Yeah.
I don't think that's realistic at all.
Yeah, it's hard to think this team's going to get over 30 points.
Yeah,
I mean, after what we've seen through 2 weeks.
I think, again, Purdue's a slightly better version of NIU.
Yeah.
And while we give up 16 points,
Yeah.
I mean, 16 points, I don't see Purdue getting more than 17.
Yeah.
And
that's probably good. Yeah, I like that number. I mean, the over-under of this game, I think, is 42, 43. It's in the low 40s. I can't remember off the top of my head. So, I mean, it's
9 or 10 point?
9.5 point favorites right now. It's been between 10.5 and 9.5, so I've been seeing.
And it's 42 is the over-under?
It's somewhere around there.
So, yeah, I mean, 16-25, 16-27 is like Vegas has predicted final score.
But just like, what's going to tell you that Notre Dame's going to put up 3 touchdowns this week? You know what I mean? Running the ball.
Running the ball.
Yeah.
Running the ball. But if Notre Dame runs the ball and Purdue's trying to play keep away, and then it's a low-scoring game.
Yeah.
And in that case, you're going to be saying definitely the under.
Yeah.
And I thought last week Denbrock was going to show dominance and get it worked out. I don't think you can do that this week. I don't think you try that this week.
Yeah.
I think you just want to get the wind and you want to be gritty and you want to run it. So I really fully expect it to be a low scoring game.
Yeah, me too.
I'm
bleeding the under. I mean, it always sucks betting the under, especially when you go to a game. You're not like hoping for an under.
You want to do score predictions or you want to go into bets?
Well, let's first here. Do we score a passing touchdown this week?
No.
I'm with you.
Unless it's a short dink or dunk wheel route, a tight end throw. If we get down first and goal, on the 3 or 4, then I could see us throwing to a tight end or something. But I don't see if we get a passing touchdown, it's less than 10 yards.
Yeah, I'm with you. Unless it's a screen.
Yeah.
Or the ball does not travel longer than 10 yards. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, the ball is not going to travel. I don't think we'll complete a pass over 20 yards this week. Like in the air.
That's very true.
In the air, it won't be over 5 or 10. But I don't think we'll have a pass over 20 yards again this week. That's week 3 in a row.
Yeah.
And again, I think Love is a potential home run hitter every time he gets the ball.
Yep.
And I think Price is the same way. I think Price has shown that. So yeah, it's possible on a screen, jet route, jet sweep, something of that nature. Those guys, I mean, gosh, put Love in the slot, run a jet sweep and get him space. Something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think we're going to see a true touchdown pass of anything over 10 yards.
Yeah. All right. Score prediction.
All right. My score prediction, I think it's low.
Yep.
I really think 10-21 is where I'm going.
Yeah, I was going
10-21.
I was going 17-3.
Yeah.
That's my guess this week.
Yeah, I think Purdue.
I think the defense is going to show up this. I mean, I think they're disappointed how they played. They know they're a much better defense than they were last week. And I found this. Golden came out and said, what we had to do to win that game last week, our defense had to let up 13 points.
Yeah.
That was his take.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like, we got to play better. It's, well, our offense scored 14. We need to let up 13 or less,
Yeah,
right? That's how
yeah.
you win that game last week. So,
Just don't give up points. So
yeah.
my prediction, I think Notre Dame scores its first drive. I'm with you.
Yep.
I think the game gets a little stagnant. And then
Yep.
I think probably third quarter, we start to pull away.
Yeah.
And I expect Purdue to get a late score in the fourth that really means nothing.
Okay.
You know, and that's where I think they're going to get to that 10 area.
Yeah.
And I think we'll be up. I'm hoping we're going to be up, 17-3 or 21-3 when
Yeah.
that happens, maybe 24. But I think 21-10 is kind of my final prediction.
It's so sad. I feel like an Iowa football fan right now. We're predicting a 17-3 game against Purdue. A 21-10 game against Purdue. This stinks.
Well,
come on, we need some offense here.
We're delusional Irish fans. What do you expect?
Yeah. So
yeah, I mean that's kind of where I'm at. So what do you like? Because we got to talk betting. You've been called out
I've been
for your
told
inability to
okay, well, let's
to accurately predict an Irish parlay.
I'm 0-2 in parlays.
Like you,
and I'm gonna be honest with you. Last week, I really tried to just throw a winner in there.
Yeah. Well,
I went Jeremiah Love's touchdown, and I just go Jeremiah. I think it was just a 2-leg parlay.
Yeah.
Jeremiah Love to score in the Irish to win. I don't remember. No, it wasn't that. I don't remember what I had last week, but it was like 2 legs.
All right. So shout out to listener Jordan.
Yeah. Shout out to Jordan. Jordan B.
Jordan B. What was his parlay recommendation?
All right. So he sent
put
it
out there. He
put it out. Yeah. He didn't just call me out. He put out his. So we got some competition this week. He's got Jordan Love, 50+ rushing yards on the alt. Then he goes Purdue, Hudson Carr, 175+ yards in the air. Notre Dame plus 2.5. So he's got, even if Purdue wins by a point or two, he's still got that one.
Yep.
And then Jeremiah Love touchdown gets you to a plus 229 parlay.
Hey, I don't like the Purdue passing yards.
Yeah.
But I get where he's going there.
Yeah.
Because we'll
175 for Card. Yeah.
I mean, we'll play a bend don't break defense. So,
yeah.
And if we sell out on the run, trying to stop the run, that does create those opportunities. So.
Yep. And
hey, let's be honest. Jordan B is a lifelong Notre Dame fan.
Yep.
He lives in the heart of ACC country, so we're gonna have to figure out how to get him on a call.
Yeah.
When we get to the ACC schedule, we're gonna have to get him on a call so we get the Notre Dame fan in the heart of ACC country perspective. So we'll have to work that out if we can.
So I did love how much he's got Jordan Love involved in this one, though. 50+ rushing yards, 220, and then touchdown. Obviously, mine. I made this before I saw his message, so I was already on the Jeremiah Love hype train. This is the only thing I can count on for Notre Dame this week.
Yeah.
So here you go. Jordan Love touchdown.
That's it.
60+ rushing yards. Oh, I've got a 4-leg this week. I'm just going for it all. 60+ rushing yards.
Okay.
So I've got 10 more than Jordan. 5 receiving yards for Jordan or Jeremiah Love. God, please. A Notre Dame money line. Not on the spread. Notre Dame to win the game.
All right. I'm just going to go out there. If Notre Dame loses, you're not allowed to bet on them anymore.
Okay.
Like you're not even allowed to predict bet on them.
Okay.
You can keep that dime in your pocket and don't bet. And let's be honest here. Full disclosure, Carter's bets are usually $1 or less.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unless he gets a free $5 bet from a bet.
I had a free $5 on this one, so it's all on it. But plus 186. Boosted, though, to plus 279.
Okay.
So I got a nice boost on this one.
So now we need to come up with
betting's definitely an energy.
So if you win this bet, will you be up or down to the sports book for the season?
Are we talking about Notre Dame?
For the season with Notre Dame.
For the season with Notre Dame, I would be up because I did very well on that Texas A&M. Not on my parlay here, but I had some money on.
I'm talking on the Notre Dame parlays on this podcast.
Oh, on this podcast.
Because you're already down on those too. All right. So
I'd be down then, I guess.
What has been your standard bet?
Like my amount?
Oh, for the parlay for this podcast, how much have you bet on typically? I think
it was like $1 or $2 on each one.
So you put $1 on each one.
Yeah.
So you're $2.
Technically, I put more on this one because I had a free bet, so I would be.
So if you put $2 on, if you put $1 on this one and you hit, would you be up or down for the year?
I would be down.
All right. So that's going to be the new. That's going to be the new mark. All right. $1 a week. And we're going to keep track if you're up or down. So right now you're down or you're behind.
Yeah, I'm down.
So if you have a better parlay suggestion than
send
Carter, send it in because he needs all the help he can get. If you're
We need
really
some
good,
winners.
I might start
Hey,
investing.
I was super hot on NFL Sunday last week. All that money I lost on
Doesn't
Notre Dame Saturday,
doesn't count.
right,
Doesn't count.
right back plus some on Sunday.
This isn't NFL
And I was not
365.
expecting that.
This isn't
I'm gonna be
NFL
honest. I was not
365.
expecting that whatsoever.
This is Irish 365. So we're
Yeah.
talking Irish right now.
Tyreek Hill would have scored that 2 touchdowns, so that'd have been a real nice day. We were talking about that one.
Yeah, and if he hadn't
But
got arrested.
yeah, so come on now. Come
if
on.
I was tall and good looking, and I was
Yeah.
athletic, I'd be in the NFL or the NBA. So
I know.
coulda, woulda, didn't.
So I'm really feeling good about this one. The only one in Notre Dame money line. I feel like I shouldn't be nervous on that against Purdue, but here we are.
Yeah, so here we are, and I think, we got to talk a little bit about the Irish 365 crew going to be on site at Purdue.
Yep.
We're excited about that. It's
Yep.
a road trip. We're going to be missing Maddie.
Yep.
So, we're going to be 20% down, but she's got commitments to a cousin who clearly isn't a Notre Dame fan because they've got wedding stuff going on. So it's not the actual wedding, so I give credit there. But it is wedding stuff going on during football season, so that's a whole debate for a whole nother show.
Yep.
That'll be some good. Do you plan a wedding? Let me know. Do you plan a wedding during football season?
Do we? No.
No. Like that's
See you in May.
Yeah. You know when my anniversary is? April.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep. See you in the spring.
That's right.
Plenty of months for weddings.
I'm ready. Hey, you can start anytime after January. So yeah, we're going to be down Maddie, but for us, it's a short 2-hour drive. It's really 15 minutes more to West Lafayette than it is to South Bend, or Notre Dame, Indiana for us. Caden's looking forward to seeing what they've got in the concession area after Notre Dame disappointed him with the ketchup issue.
Yeah.
So we'll see what.
Still hearing about that one.
We'll see what Ross Aid has to offer in the concession stand area.
Yep.
Christy's looking forward to complaining about the engineering bathrooms and how great they're not.
Yeah.
I think it's her first trip to Ross 8.
I think Caden's too.
I know it's Caden's.
Yeah.
So
I've been there
a couple times.
Twice, I think.
Yeah. So I mean, it's
been a few basketball games. So yeah. I mean, big tailgating environment this weekend. I know we've been invited to a few. Don't know if we'll make it out to any. We got don't have time to plan on getting to campus Saturday morning. But it's going to be hotter than expected. Last week we were looking at like 81 for this game. Now we're already up like 87. I'm like, man, I thought we were kind of getting that fall weather after last week, but.
And I saw an article. So you talked about tailgating.
Yeah.
I used to work with a gentleman who was a John Purdue Club guy. He's the guy that's given us tickets in the past. And first time I went to a Purdue game with him, it was Drew Brees.
Yeah.
Was the quarterback. And he said, "You've got to see this kid we got, Brees, play quarterback."
Yeah.
So I went and seen Brees throw, and I think it was Stutterfeld or something like that. I think Brees was playing Iowa, and I think threw for like 520 yards that game. It was just ridiculous. It was like, wow, this dude is good.
Yeah.
But I saw that Drew Brees was between Notre Dame and Purdue for his college choices. And I never knew this. It was just something I recently learned. And he ultimately chose Purdue for one reason. Joe Tiller, which was the coach at Purdue at the time, convinced him if he came to Purdue, he would get to play as a freshman, and he would never get to play as a freshman at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
And that was ultimately, it was ultimately what swung him, and how Purdue won that recruiting battle with Drew Brees.
Yeah.
Is we're so bad, you'll get to play as a freshman. So, hey, hats off to Tiller, because that worked out really well for him.
Yeah.
He got a class guy.
Still selling jerseys for him.
One heck of a player.
All right.
So anyway.
Will we see more?
Fun fact. We'll see more. Hopefully we do not see the second coming of Drew Brees.
Will we see more Drew Brees jerseys this weekend or Joe Montana jerseys this weekend? What are we taking?
I'm going to have to. You're in West Lafayette. I'm going to Purdue.
I don't know. I've been hearing a lot of decent amount of Irish people going to this one.
I mean, yeah, no, there should be. Hey, and if you're going, wear green, right? Irish wear green. No, I mean, we've been saying it. Wear green to the away game, especially if the opposing team doesn't wear green.
Yep.
But yeah, I really think you're going to see a lot of Drew Brees.
Yeah.
Here's the question: 260 guy. Will we see a Rod Woodson jersey? Because mad respect if I go on campus with a Rod Woodson jersey.
I don't know. Probably see more basketball jerseys than football jerseys.
Oh yeah.
Honest. I'll see more Zach Edey jerseys than.
Okay, over and under on Zach Edey jerseys.
That's a tough line to go for. And it's gonna be hot. So remember, basketball jersey is gonna be big this weekend.
Yeah, tank top basketball jersey.
I'll go. What's our line here? 18.5.
Over and under?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd call it 10.
10?
Yeah.
I'd go over 10.
You take if I give you
10.5.
All right.
Or 9.5 or 10.5.
All right, we'll call it 10.
9.5. We need a half.
9.5.
Okay, 9.5. I'll take over 9.5 Zach Edey jerseys this weekend.
All right, we'll try and keep a count on that and report that back. So
it's gonna be hot. Like Zach Edey.
Not A&M hot.
But Indiana hot.
Indiana hot
for September.
There'll be a little bit of humidity. It'll
Yeah.
be some corn
There'll
stuff
be
going on.
10 plus Saki jerseys.
And it's a 3:30 game, so it's heat of the day.
Yep.
But you know what? Hey, we're ready.
Get ready for the big drum. It's coming.
That's right.
Not in Notre Dame Stadium though. Don't forget
That's
it.
right. They don't bring that to Notre Dame. But yeah, so I mean, it'll be a good environment. There'll be a lot of Notre Dame fans there. I think a lot of Purdue fans preseason sold their tickets. I think they're probably regretting that now. Have you looked at SeatGeek and seen what the
I've seen them been dropping
prices are going?
because I know they were kind of high.
Of course,
but I have been getting notifications they've been dropping, so I haven't really been looking. Cheapest get in. Let's see, it's loading. $115 with fees on SeatGeek right now, and I think that wasn't the
individual seat.
2 seats.
Okay, that's for 2
seats, $115 each, and that's section 117, row 70. So I mean, you're up at the top, but I mean, in the end zone. But still, I think that was like 175 earlier in the week, maybe 200.
Yeah. Well, I know there's a lot of Miami of Ohio tickets becoming available at Notre Dame too. So
Yeah.
A lot of people are feeling sick and not going to be able to
Yeah.
make the game for one reason or another. So
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's see what happens. I'm ready.
I'm ready to celebrate Sunday. Have
That's
a good
right.
podcast. Talk about how great the game was.
Yes.
Great atmosphere. Great win for the Irish. Glad we put up 70 points. I mean, right?
And hey, I'm just saying, Purdue concession stands, don't run out of ketchup before the game starts.
Shout out.
We don't need to do that. Like,
don't need it.
Right? Figure it out.
Don't ruin Caden's day.
That's right.
Don't ruin our day for Caden.
You know, I think the no ketchup thing would have been a lot less disappointing if the Irish would have played better.
Yeah, it really just added on.
Everything just gets worse in that scenario. So all right, well, hey, we appreciate you guys for listening.
Yep.
And go Irish.
Go Irish.
God bless.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Irish 365 podcast.
You can find us wherever you get your podcast.
We are on YouTube, X, Instagram, and Facebook.
Just search for Irish 365 Pod.
And you can always reach us at our email, irish365pod@gmail.com.
Good night.
And God bless.